Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these dime that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that many might overlook but has a fascinating backstory and an incredible value. It's the United States 1 dime from 1974. At first glance, this may seem like just another dime from the 1970s, but stick around, because you might be surprised by how much it's worth. Now, we all know the United States dime is a small, everyday coin, often found in our pockets or laying around in spare change. But what if I told you that one specific 1974 dime could fetch an astonishing amount of money in today's market? That's right, what seems like a simple, insignificant coin could actually be worth more than your wildest imagination. Before we get to the value of this rare dime, let's take a quick journey through its history. The 1974 dime was minted during a time of political and economic change in the United States. Richard Nixon was still in office as president, and the country was navigating the aftermath of the Watergate scandal. The U.S. economy was experiencing inflation, which would eventually lead to higher prices on goods and services in the coming years. The dime itself, minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, was part of a regular series of coins that were circulated widely at the time. On the obverse side, the coin features the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who is remembered for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. This design was created by artist John R. Sinek and has graced the dime since 1946. On the reverse side, we see the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. This design, too, has remained largely unchanged for decades. So, you might think there's nothing too special about this coin, but this is where things get interesting. While the 1974 dime was issued in large numbers, most of them circulated and ended up in poor condition over time. Coins that were heavily used in daily transactions show signs of wear and tear, losing their sharp details and smooth surfaces. But there's one very important reason why the 1974 dime is so highly coveted: a rare error that could make it worth thousands of dollars. This particular error is a double die strike. This happens when a coin is struck by the minting die more than once, causing parts of the design to overlap or double up. When this happens, the result is a coin with noticeable, sometimes dramatic, doubling on the lettering, numbers, or other parts of the design. In the case of the 1974 dime, certain coins with the double die error feature doubling on the date, or even on the words, Liberty, and, In God We Trust. These coins stand out from their counterparts and are highly sought after by collectors. The rarity of this error is what truly boosts the value of the coin. Although many of the 1974 dimes were struck and circulated, only a small percentage have this double die strike, making them extremely hard to find. The condition of the coin also plays a huge role in determining its value. If you happen to find a 1974 dime with this error in mint condition, unscathed and pristine, it can be worth significantly more than your average dime. And here's the kicker: a 1974 dime with the double die error in flawless condition has been known to fetch an impressive price at auction. While most regular 1974 dimes are worth only about 10 cents, this rare error coin can command up to a staggering $59,000. Yes, you heard that right, $59,000. That's the kind of price collectors are willing to pay for a rare 1974 dime with the double die error in perfect, uncirculated condition. This makes the coin not only a historical artifact but also a valuable treasure for those lucky enough to find one in their collections. So, if you're a collector or just someone who enjoys scouring through old coins, make sure to check any 1974 dimes you come across carefully. You could be holding onto a small fortune without even knowing it. But remember, it's all about the condition and whether the coin has that elusive double die error. If you find one, you might just have a rare treasure in your hands that could be worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dollars. That's all for today's video, folks. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the United States 1 dime from 1974 and its incredible value. If you have a 1974 dime, don't just toss it into a jar with your other spare change. Give it a closer look, because you never know, you might just have a rare coin worth a small fortune. Top 2, we're going to be taking a close look at a coin that might seem like just another dime, but trust me, it's much more than that. We're talking about the United States 1 dime from 1977. At first glance, it's easy to think of it as just another piece of change, but when you dig a little deeper, you'll see why this particular dime is much more special and valuable than most people realize. Stick around until the end of this video because you won't believe just how much this coin could be worth today. To start, let's take a step back and set the scene. The year 1977 was a pivotal time in the United States. Jimmy Carter was sworn in as the 39th President of the U.S., and the country was going through major economic and social changes. The 1970s had seen inflation and high unemployment, and the American people were adjusting to a new economic reality. In the world of coins, however, things were continuing on much as they had for years. The U.S. Mint was still producing coins like the dime, featuring the familiar image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. The 1977 dime, like its predecessors, was part of a long-running series that had been in circulation since 1946. This iconic design by John R. Sinek depicts Roosevelt, who is remembered for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, on the obverse side. On the reverse side, we find the traditional elements, a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, all representing liberty, peace, and strength. But here's where things get interesting. While the 1977 dime was produced in massive quantities, millions of these coins were minted. There's a key factor that makes this coin so special. What you might not know is that some 1977 dimes feature an extremely rare and valuable minting error. And that error has made this seemingly ordinary coin something collectors will pay big money for. So, what's the error, you ask? It's known as the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck multiple times by the same die, which causes parts of the design to double up or overlap. When this happens on a coin, it's immediately noticeable. The most common areas to see this doubling are on the date, the lettering, or even on the word liberty. On a normal dime, these features are clear, sharp, and precise. But when a double die error happens, those parts of the coin are blurry or doubled, creating a unique and highly collectible version of the coin. Now, imagine you're going through your spare change, and you find a 1977 dime that looks a little different from the others. Maybe the date is doubled or liberty is strangely more pronounced. That's a potential treasure you've just stumbled upon. These error coins are very rare, and finding one in good condition makes it even more valuable. The best part? As time goes on, these coins are becoming harder to find, which means their value is steadily increasing. While most 1977 dimes are worth their face value, just 10 cents, a double die error dime can fetch a much higher price. In fact, some of these coins have been known to sell for as much as $55,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $55,000. That's the kind of value a rare, error-free 1977 dime with a double die strike can bring in the right condition. It's amazing to think that such a small, unassuming coin could be worth so much money. But for collectors, it's all about the rarity and the condition. The higher the quality of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. If you think about it, this makes sense. In the world of coin collecting, errors are a big deal. They're the kind of find that gets collectors excited and willing to pay top dollar. And with the 1977 dime being so widely circulated, it's not surprising that finding one in pristine condition with an error is quite a feat. So, if you have any 1977 dimes lying around, it's worth taking a closer look at them. You never know, you could be sitting on a rare treasure. Even if the coin doesn't have the double die error, it's still an interesting part of US coin history. But if it does, congratulations, you've just found yourself a potentially highly valuable coin. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap. The 1977 dime was part of a series of coins that have been in circulation for decades. While most of these coins are worth only 10 cents, a rare double die error can make them incredibly valuable. A well-preserved 1977 dime with a double die error can sell for up to $55,000. Top 3. We're about to explore a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance but is actually hiding a big secret. We're talking about the United States 1 dime from 1980. This little coin, which has been in circulation for decades, might not catch your eye right away, but don't be fooled, this dime has an incredible value that you won't want to miss. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1980 dime is worth a lot more than just its face value, and will reveal its stunning price. Let's take a step back in time to 1980. Ronald Reagan had just begun his presidential term, and the country was dealing with significant economic issues, including high inflation and unemployment. At the same time, the United States Mint was busy producing everyday coins, like the 1 dime, which were made to meet the needs of a growing economy. The 1980 dime, much like its predecessors, featured the profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse side, a design that has become iconic for American currency. The reverse side of the coin displayed a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbols that represent liberty, peace, and strength. For decades, this design has remained unchanged, making it a staple of American currency. At first glance, the 1980 dime might seem just like any other dime you've seen. But here's where things get interesting. Some 1980 dimes are incredibly rare and valuable, especially those with an unusual and highly sought-after error. What makes the 1980 dime so valuable is a special error that occurred during the minting process, an error known as the off-center strike. When a coin is struck by a minting die, it's supposed to land perfectly centered, ensuring that all of the design elements are correctly placed. However, occasionally, due to the alignment of the dies or other factors, a coin may not align perfectly, and the result is an off-center strike. This means that the design is not fully imprinted on the coin, and parts of it may be missing or misaligned. In some cases, the coin's features might be significantly shifted, creating a unique look that catches the eye of collectors. Now, most of the time, off-center strikes are relatively small errors that don't add a ton of value to a coin. But when it comes to the 1980 dime, finding one of these off-center errors in excellent condition is what makes the coin so incredibly valuable. A coin that has been well preserved, with a clear and noticeable off-center strike, is considered a rare find, especially since many of these coins were in circulation for years and were subject to wear and tear. The reason these coins are so highly prized by collectors is simple: rarity and condition. The 1980 dime, in particular, is harder to find in good shape with an off-center error, which drives its price up significantly. Collectors are always on the lookout for these rare minting mistakes, and when they find one, they're willing to pay top dollar to add it to their collection. So, how much can you expect a 1980 dime with an off-center error to be worth? You might be surprised. While the typical 1980 dime is worth only 10 cents, a well-preserved off-center strike can fetch up to $52,000. That's right, $52,000 for a single dime. If you happen to find one of these rare off-center 1980 dimes in your collection, you could be holding onto a small fortune. It's amazing to think that such a modest coin, which was once used as everyday currency, could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars to the right collector. Now, you might be wondering, how do you spot one of these valuable dimes? It's all about the details. When you're going through your spare change, look for a 1980 dime that has a noticeable misalignment in the design. The date, the word liberty, and the symbols on the reverse side might appear to be off-center or even cut off. If the misalignment is significant, that's your cue to take a closer look. Of course, the condition of the coin is important too. A coin in excellent condition with no heavy wear or damage will always be worth more than one that's been heavily circulated. So, make sure to inspect any 1980 dimes you come across carefully, especially if you think you found an off-center strike. To recap, the 1980 dime may seem like a regular piece of change, but with the right minting error, it can be worth an incredible amount of money. If you find an off-center 1980 dime in good condition, it could be worth as much as $52,000. That's a pretty amazing find for something that once might have been used to buy a simple cup of coffee. Top 4, we have an exciting discovery that's sure to make you look at your pocket change a little differently. We're going to be taking a closer look at the United States one dime from 1990. At first, it may seem like just another dime, part of the regular coinage circulating during the 1990s. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary dime could be worth a small fortune? Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll see why a single 1990 dime can fetch a staggering amount of money in today's market. Let's set the stage and take a quick journey back to 1990. George H.W. Bush was President of the United States, and the country was in the middle of the early stages of the Gulf War. The economy was in a phase of moderate growth, but coinage production by the U.S. Mint was still going strong, with millions of everyday coins being minted for circulation. Among them, the dime, a small but important part of daily life, continued its regular run. The 1990 dime, like the ones before it, featured the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, the 32nd President of the United States, who served through the Great Depression and World War II. On the reverse, the design remained the same with a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, each symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. These designs had been around for decades, but as we know, the world of coins is full of surprises. While the 1990 dime was minted in large quantities, it's not just the design or history of the coin that makes it so fascinating, it's a very rare, valuable minting error that can cause a single 1990 dime to be worth far more than its face value. Now, you might be asking, what's the big deal about the 1990 dime? What could make it worth so much? The answer lies in a unique and rare error that occurred during the minting process, the double die error. Double die errors happen when a coin is struck more than once by the same die. As a result, the design becomes doubled or misaligned, creating an unusual and distinct look. When this happens on a dime, the effects can be noticeable on areas like the date, the word liberty, or the phrase, "In God we trust." For the 1990 dime, these doubled elements can stand out, particularly the date, which often shows a clear and noticeable doubling. This minting mistake is rare, and only a small percentage of 1990 dimes were affected, making them a coveted item for coin collectors. In addition to the doubled features, a coin with this error that remains in excellent condition can significantly increase in value. The reason is simple: errors like this are uncommon, and finding one in good condition is even rarer. Collectors love these types of coins because they are not only rare but also have an intriguing history tied to them. Now, let's talk about the value. Most 1990 dimes, in typical circulated condition, are worth just 10 cents. However, if you're fortunate enough to find a 1990 dime with the double die error, the value of that coin can skyrocket. A well-preserved 1990 dime with the double die error has been known to fetch as much as $46,000, that's right, you heard it, $46,000 for a single dime. It's incredible to think that a coin that once might have been spent on a pack of gum or a cup of coffee could now be worth such a significant amount of money. The rarity of this error, combined with the quality and condition of the coin, is what makes it so valuable to collectors. So, how can you identify a 1990 dime with a double die error? It's all about closely examining the details. Start by looking at the date on the coin. This is often where the doubling is most noticeable. You'll see the numbers appear blurred or doubled, which is a clear indication of a minting mistake. Also, take a look at the word liberty and "In God we trust." If you notice any additional lines or overlaps, that's another sign that the coin might have the double die error. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin is. Finding a 1990 dime with this error is a rare and exciting discovery for any collector, but don't forget, the condition of the coin is everything. Coins that are in mint or near mint condition will always fetch higher prices than those that have been heavily worn. If you're searching through your spare change or have a collection of older coins, make sure to give your 1990 dimes a close inspection. You never know, you could be holding onto a coin that is worth thousands. To recap, while most 1990 dimes are worth just 10 cents, a rare double die error can make this coin worth an incredible $46,000. If you have a 1990 dime with this error, it could be the jackpot you've been waiting for. Top 5, and last coin, we have something truly remarkable to discuss, and it might just make you look at your pocket change in a whole new way. We're diving into the world of the United States 1 dime from 2002, a coin that might seem unremarkable at first, but it has an incredible secret hiding within it. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll learn just how much this seemingly ordinary dime could be worth in today's market, and trust me, it's a lot more than you think. Let's take a quick trip back to 2002. The early 2000s were a time of economic transition in the United States. George W. Bush was in office, and the country was recovering from the aftermath of the September 11th attacks. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was still churning out millions of coins, including the 1 dime, which features the famous portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. The design of the dime hasn't changed much over the years, and Roosevelt's image has graced the front since 1946. The reverse side of the coin shows a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. These designs have become staples of U.S. coinage, and the 2002 dime was no exception. But while most 2002 dimes were just part of everyday transactions, some of these coins were minted with a very rare, and highly valuable, error that has made them worth a small fortune today. So, what's the big deal with the 2002 dime? Well, in 2002, a small batch of dimes were produced with a rare minting error known as the wide rim error. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or damaged, causing the rim of the coin to appear unusually wide. The wide rim is a subtle yet distinctive feature, and it's the key to identifying a valuable 2002 dime. But how much more valuable are these wide rim dimes compared to regular ones? Let me tell you, the difference is huge. Most 2002 dimes, in typical circulated condition, are worth just 10 cents, nothing out of the ordinary. However, the wide rim error dimes, which are quite rare, can fetch a price that's far beyond their face value. In fact, if you're lucky enough to find a well-preserved 2002 dime with this minting error, it could be worth as much as $40,000. Yes, you heard that right, $40,000 for a single dime. It's incredible to think that a small, everyday coin, which most people wouldn't give a second glance, could be worth such an astonishing amount of money. But that's the power of rare minting errors. These coins are prized by collectors who are always on the lookout for unique finds that can add value to their collections. And when a coin like this pops up, it doesn't stay on the market for long. Now, you're probably wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these valuable wide rim 2002 dimes? The key is to closely examine the rim of the coin. Normally, the rim is narrow and uniform around the edge of the coin. But on a wide rim dime, the rim will appear much wider than usual, and you'll notice that the design on the coin may look slightly shifted or misaligned. This error is subtle but noticeable once you know what to look for. If the coin shows these characteristics, you may be looking at a rare and valuable piece of U.S. currency, but don't forget, condition is everything when it comes to coins. A well-preserved coin will always fetch a higher price than one that has been worn down from years of circulation. So, if you come across a 2002 dime with a wide rim, make sure to handle it carefully and keep it in the best condition possible. Coins that are free from scratches, discoloration, or other damage are always more valuable, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for these well-kept gems. In addition to the wide rim error, other variations of the 2002 dime exist, but they are even rarer and can include different types of misprints, including double designs or off-center strikes. These can also dramatically increase the value of the coin, but the wide rim error is one of the most well-known and sought after by collectors. So, to summarize, while most 2002 dimes are worth just 10 cents, the rare wide rim error coin can be worth an astounding $40,000. It's mind-blowing to think about the value that such a small, seemingly insignificant coin can hold. For coin collectors, these are the types of treasures they are constantly on the lookout for, and if you happen to have one, you could be holding onto a small fortune. Before we wrap up, let me remind you to keep an eye out for these rare coins in your collection or in your spare change. You never know when you might come across a valuable find. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.